So you're
Awesome.
mute.
Mute.
Yes, sir. So we can now begin.
Good evening, and thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you over. A matter of great pride for me to see one of my bright students, Shinjini, having taken so much time and put in the effort and used the time during the lockdown to write, reflect, and give us a deep insight into what she believes is going to be the future of a disrupted model, which I dare say stands disrupted itself. So, we're going to spend the next 1 hour speaking to Shinjini, getting a few insights. Really, I'm going to give her an examination, but we'll talk about that later. What I want to do at the moment is to welcome Shinjini. Thank you for taking the time. Please accept our warmest felicitations from the Institute of Hotel Management. Needless to add, we are extremely proud of you for all the work that you have done, and even more so because you are doing this with an intention to just disseminate this knowledge into the community. And that's a huge, huge contribution from you. So please accept our heartiest congratulations and best wishes with all of these wonderful initiatives you're taking as we go forward. And over to you now, Shinjini. Tell us what is happening with your life as we are on the brink of launching your book today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jairam. Uh, Good evening to everybody present over here. And thank you for the warm welcome. It's always a pleasure to reconnect with everybody at IHM Aurangabad, because it's been almost 12 years that I've left the institute. So it was back in 2009 that I graduated. So it's been a long time, but the sense of respect and pride that I always feel about the institute, I think I carry that with me everywhere I go. So thank you so much for such a warm welcome and organizing this platform today where I can launch my ebook, which is called The New Normal, The Future of B&B Disruptors. So as I take you through the launch or the e-launch of the book, Smita, if you could help me with the presentation on the screen, please. Okay, so that's the cover of the book. I'm sure all of you have already seen it. That's because thanks to the great marketing and the creative team that we have at IHM Aurangabad, who's created such really nice Instagram, Facebook posts. And so I will just brief you a bit about what is the book all about. Well, my book, as you can already make out from the name, it's about the B&B space. So basically, we are talking about the hospitality disruptors, which is Airbnb. We are talking about the VRBOs and all of them, and how COVID-19 has kind of disseminated the entire industry. Yet, what my book explores is the various examples where they have managed to, kind of stay afloat and survive or maybe fall. So that's how, you can read it and maybe see how it's actually trying to survive in the times today. So moving on. So this is how my book looks on the Goodreads page. Uh, you can also access it over here. I have shared the link below. You will also find the link in the chat box. And can you move on to the next slide, please? Okay, so I'll just give you a few excerpts from my book here so that you get a feel of what's it about. If COVID-19 is the biggest disruptor of 2020, then surely no industry could have saved itself from its after effects, including the disruptor itself. Encapsulated in the fear of the repercussions of the pandemic, the consumer is rapidly changing their buying pattern. Although the word new normal was coined after the financial crisis of 2007-2008, the definition has been altered ever since COVID-19 has taken over. So these are the few excerpts. Now I would like you to go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So the link that you see on the screen here, it's basically, you can click on the link and it will take you through the Google Play Store. Okay, can someone please open the link for me? Okay, great. Yeah, so that's how the book features on the Google Play Store. And just to let you know, it has a brief intro about me and what is the book all about. And you can see a link over there which says free ebook. So the book is absolutely free for all the students and the faculty and anybody you want to, share the link with, who can easily download it on their iPads or laptops. And also, if you scroll down, there is a place for the review. And I'm really looking forward to hear how you like the book and share your thoughts on the same, so that I can take the cue on from there and probably explore more in this field. So thank you, Mr. Jairam. That's about the launching of the book.
Thank you. Thank you, Shinjini. Two things that we must appreciate deeply. Number one, the diligence and engagement that you have with your external environment, your insight, your ability to take all of these pieces of information, put them together, make them a coherent argument for what you definitely have evidence in terms of future disruptions that are coming through. So, kudos to you on that. The second thing that I want to focus on is wonderfully placed in a place where everybody can access it easily. And thank you so much for this gesture of giving it to the students of this institute free of cost. It's absolutely wonderful. I can tell you that it might have most certainly been there, but we wouldn't have known. And thank you for releasing this at the institute, even if digitally, for all of our students. Very proud of the work that you've done. Now,
Thank you. Yeah.
so Shinjini, you know what? It's been a long time since I've grilled you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time getting a sense of what the nuts and bolts of this entire book are all about. So I've
Sure.
got a few questions. I have a few questions. And when I say I have 10 questions, right? But I
Okay.
think by the time you finish answering those 10 questions, there will be adequate clarity. And I definitely believe adequate motivation for everybody to go there and find the answers to this mystery of disruption and innovation that's out there in the public environment. So
Sure.
here we go. And I'm going to start with asking you, of all other things, why did you choose B&B as a category to write on?
Okay. So while I was doing my research on this topic, what was very interesting to note is the B&B concept, or the bed and the breakfast concept traditionally. This has been, always the industry where it's like associated with no frills attached. There's not much of an innovation there. Also, it's not like something which has not been existing since long. So, right from the 18th century, it's been there. And, one of the oldest, in fact, one of the oldest B&B inns is still working. It's present in Japan. And that's the example. So it was very interesting also to note that the whole space of the disruptors today is close to about $115 billion is a spend that people are doing worldwide, and that's as per 2019 figures. So when I kind of did my research on this, the age group who are using this particular space is between an age group of anything from 18 to 44 years. So they were all the millennials, the Gen X, and all of them. So, and the spend was huge. It's not like it's very low. It's much lesser than a 5-star category hotels. No, they were all looking for these brilliant experiences that a B&B space could create. So what was interesting to note is, of course, the industry firstly. And secondly, what intrigued me to really see how this will do is the pandemic. So B&B as such, they are, you already know, these are like solo property owners, not enough funds, maybe borrowed funds, just, trying to place themselves to earn some extra money. So how were they going to kind of deal with the whole pandemic? So it was very intriguing to note that, what all things they are doing, how they are exploring, how they are innovating. So I kind of discussed this with my publisher that I want to bring this up in my book. And when we run through the draft and everything, things looked well. And now you have the book in front of you. So, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. You chose the right spot on which you wanted to get a lot of curiosity in the public space. So, what with the $1 billion valuations and everything else, tell me, why would a hotelier? What is the relevance of your writing for hoteliers? Why should anyone from the hotel business read your book?
Right. So, as a writer, uh, for now, as in, what's always going on behind your head is why should the reader really read your book? What's really so interesting that would bring him up to read my book? And taking the cue from there, what I finally explored in my book is there are, two things that a hotelier can always leverage from my book. One would be resilience, okay? The second would be agility. Now, I have given umpteen number of examples in my book, quoting the same things, how the B&B space was being resilient to the whole pandemic waves that were kept on going in and disrupting them. And what were they doing? What was keeping the focus on? So, to name a few, I would just give a short example to you. In this is the case in Japan again. And there was a time that the bookings were going really low once the pandemic had hit. So in January 2020, the entire industry was decimated. And Japan ranks four in terms of the total spend that they do in terms of travel and tourism. So the ranking was like, as per the WTTC rating, so it was really high after US, Germany, I think China, Germany, and then the fourth one was Japan. So what really was going on in the head of the government was how do we really sustain this economy, because they were really worried about this. A lot of their GDPs were going down, and so were the revenues. So they started with releasing, starting up with the domestic flights for a certain period of time. About in March, I think March and April beginning, they started their domestic airlines like the All Nippon and the Japan Airlines Limited, JAL. Okay, and then post that, what they also did is just to avoid the whole clutter in the country. There's this place called Genma Prefecture. Now, this place is a UNESCO site, and it's about 190 kilometers away from Tokyo, so not really in the busiest place of the city. So that they gave the hotel owners over there a certain funding so that they could sustain themselves. And there was a lot of visual content which was going on at that time to encourage the tourism. So these kind of examples and what they actually did, they I have mentioned a lot of them in my book. So I think these are cues, and soon enough, Tripla, which is one of their top ranking booking website, had seen a flurry of bookings. All of a sudden, it was rising up. It was going up. So, it was a brilliant example, which they just left it for a period of time so that, everybody could get their funds right, can at least sustain for the remaining timing. And then obviously, Japan has been criticized later on for starting up the travel. But till that time, it was able to sustain the B&B space. So I think hoteliers can pick up from such examples that I have quoted and can make use of it, because times are really tough, and it's important to be agile as well as, be resilient at this period.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful insight. And what I find even more exciting is the fact that you see, learning is unbounded and best practices can be learned anywhere. It
Right.
doesn't really matter whether it is inside of your business or on the periphery, on the fringe of your
Mm-hmm.
business, in your economy. At the end of the day, I think we all have the opportunity to learn. And what a wonderful way to say that. I want to
Thank you.
ask you now about these talents that we have at the Institute who have been dealing with this whole challenge of, the past 15 months. So,
Mm-hmm.
if these students were to read this book, how do you think they can leverage the insights of this book for their
Mm-hmm.
careers as they go forward?
Sure. I would like to address to all the aspiring hoteliers and the hospitality graduates out there. You know, the pandemic is probably the best learning that you could have got. We were not prepared, or ever, never ever have we studied, something like this could ever come into the industry and totally, probably just die down the entire industry. So this is a great learning itself. But what's even more interesting is how we are trying to survive in the whole situation. So as a student, I think it's a time for innovating yourself. It's a time for learning. And as I said, I have put in a lot of examples in my book quoting the kind of innovation that the industry is going through at this time. Because at the end of the day, hospitality or the hotel space or the B&B space is a very physical product. But when you cannot use the very tangible product in itself, how you make the intangible component so attached to the customer that he feels a sense of belongingness to it. So I mean, that's where this book has given a lot of examples. And to name a few is about Airbnb, where Brian Chesky has been constantly living up to support the B&B industry by giving them the solidarity fund in the beginning so that they can bear the losses that they had gone through initially. And also, he's been innovating in terms of virtual experiences. So a lot of trainings, a lot of live cooking sessions, a lot of even the CEOs are coming on the web platform and kind of trying to sell an advance purchase to their clients. And you will be surprised to see C Trip has managed to almost I think sell about 1 million yen is what they managed to sell on through an advance purchase. I mean, that's the kind of monetization that's going on in this platform. So for you hoteliers, I think this is a brilliant example to take on, because tomorrow the world may be physical, it may not be physical, it may be partial or physical and digital. But how can we still leverage on both these things and make money out of it is what we need to innovate on. So I think Mr. Jairam's classes must be really helping you to innovate, but still, please do read my book to get some more examples and insights on this.
So, Shinjini, cheers to the new word, the digital world. And there's no doubt about the fact that I've constantly been innovating myself. So my classes are now better geared to this new disrupted post-pandemic world that we're all going to go into. uh, Brings me to the thought where you were talking about Brian and we were talking about Airbnb as a company. So we
Mhm.
studied this Airbnb case study this year, okay? But COVID seems to have disrupted the model of the disruptor. One of the things that you quoted. Did you see
Mhm.
this coming, and why? Why did you know this was going to happen?
Okay. So, as you know, the whole Airbnb model per se, how it functions, it's basically a kind of commission-based system where a part of the booking fees is being charged to the travelers. There's a traveler fee, there's a booking fee from the owners, and that's how they kind of work. They survive that way. But when it comes about, when we talk about the pandemic, I mean, I don't think so. Any hotelier or anybody would have forecasted such a massive, deadly disease that's coming our way. So it's very new for all of us, whether it's the hotel or the B&B space. So of course, I haven't really predicted it, but what I feel that yes, it had disseminated the entire B&B space because Airbnb saw a lot of delistings going on at that time when the pandemic had hit because these guys couldn't sustain themselves. And initially, what happened is the cancellation fees that were charged to the guest was retained by the company itself. So Airbnb had, kind of retained that fee. So it was not really giving out that money to the actual owners of the properties, and they had to repay their loans. They had a lot of, mortgage to pay off. So over a period of time when the delistings went on and Airbnb realized that they are losing out on the visibility part, I think they started with the Solidarity Fund. That was first moved by them, and that really helped them survive. And post that, obviously, a lot of learnings, and these learnings were not only in terms of the health concerns that people might have. So a lot of sanitizing and all these techniques that they were doing, their trainings they were doing virtually, but also how they could monetize their properties, their physical properties. So they were doing these art and craft classes, for that matter. They were doing a lot of live cooking sessions with a lot of key chefs in the working in them. So that's how they kind of took the best of the situation and made money out of it. So that's how I see it. How do you stay afloat in the entire situation when things are not going your way? So yeah, this I'm sure you will also like it when you read the book finally.
So yes, you're right, Shinjini. So I've been going through your book in bits and spurts, but I must
Mm-hmm.
tell you, you're
Mm-hmm.
absolutely right. So when you come to the amount of money that's available in the experience economy, okay, that money, okay, is definitely bounded by the urgency of having to consume the experience. And if you
Right.
can't consume the experience,
Mm-hmm.
obviously the money is not going to be going out. So it doesn't really matter. And I think hopefully we should have more phygital experiences as we go forward so we don't lose that money. Actually
Absolutely.
brings me to the next question, okay, which is I think Airbnb and the concept was clearly one of the most imitated ideas, and we could see the speed with which people were doing this. So whether it
Mm-hmm.
is the VRBOs, the alternatives, the homestays, the new authentic experiences, uh, what do hotel companies need to learn from this phenomenon that's taking place?
Sure. So VRBO has been an excellent model. I mean, Peter Kern himself, he has complemented the VRBO concept and said that probably this is the highest revenue generating model for Expedia at this time. So hoteliers really need to take learnings from this, and I think a lot of us have already kind of taken that learning and innovated in this space. So like you can see, today we have things like staycations and workations going on. That's the need of the hour because people are really, the leisure travel is starting. Okay, I think there's can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You're loud and
Okay.
clear. All well.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So I was saying that hotels have started adapting to a lot of new things. So workations and staycations were not existing in such a bigger way, but today we have a kind of well, not only this, but in terms of new experiences like how dark kitchen concepts are setting up, how we are evolving in the space of putting the staycations and clubbing it with the other kind of experiences as well, like entertainments and all of that. So these are cues that we need to pick up on and start innovating ourselves, which some of them are doing. And I think it's a learning space and a much more evolving space. and there's a lot to grow in this field as of now. So
You're right. I think it's time for us to break down what is not bringing the monies in and start to look at some of these newer models. And yes, you're right. Everything from vacation, staycation, and now we've got this new segment called the pleasure segment. So,
yes,
interestingly, all of these are new learnings for us. So, let me ask you how you have, as the key account director working at a world-class brand like Accor, how have you leveraged your B&B knowledge at work? Has Accor learned anything from your book on the new normal and the future of B&B?
sure. Well, like I said, for all the other hoteliers out there, there are just two things that is right now the key most important things to learn. One is being resilient, and the other is being agile in your business. So as I take on these learnings with me as well, and continue to do my job, there are few things that Accor, or rather not Accor, all the major hotel companies, they have also, kind of taken experiences from this pandemic. So what you see right now, a lot of companies doing, which BNB Space has already been working on, is currently we are all rejigging our sales skills. When it comes to how do we, kind of entice our customers, uh, how do we manage our balance sheets so that we can be a little more frugal when it comes to the work spend, at the same time working out on the room to the employee ratios and all of that. So these are key learnings because at this time sustainability is of prime importance. So I think that's what we are as hoteliers currently imbibing in our daily work, in our day-to-day routines, and trying to survive the storm that we have here. And I'm sure a lot of other hotel companies are also doing the same in this space.
True. I was on a call a few days back and we were talking about this beautiful new number that we've achieved, 1 is to 1.14 in terms of rooming ratios with staff. And, I know for a fact that all of this is going to change. And a big part of that change is actually driven by leadership. And I want to say that one of the leaders that I really admire is Sebastian Bazin. So,
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Sebastian Bazin as a business leader. Which
Hmm.
sections of your book
Hmm.
will you speed read for him?
Oh, okay. So Mr. Baza is a visionary in himself. I not only because I'm a part of Accor and I work for Accor, but just generally because the kind of foresightedness that he has, it's been something that cannot be, I cannot say it in words. So I totally admire him, and I don't think so that I have reached that place where I can tell him to bring in inspiration. He has a lot to inspire me today, and as he, in case what I think I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to probably give him my book and tell him, so please go ahead, read the book, and share me your insight on the same, and I'm going to jot that down, and maybe in future if I'm going to write something again, I'm going to bring those thoughts in and improvise on my next book, maybe, who knows. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I'm also very enthused about the fact that a lot of hotel companies are entering this new category. Okay. And I think that's where the authenticity piece is actually coming together. So, Shinjini, let me ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about being a full-time writer or academic or researcher rather than just being a hotelier? I've got a recruitment agenda going on right now.
No, I envy you totally, Mr. Jairam. I mean, sir, you are like, you are my guru, and I don't want to take up that space anytime soon, at this point at least. With my current book, which is now being launched, thanks to the entire platform and everybody here. I think I'm just taking baby steps into this industry, and I've still a lot to learn from the hospitality space. Pandemic is the biggest learning that I've got, and I'm still trying to, struggling with how to keep my pace up and work with the new things going around. So, not anytime soon. I'll continue being a hotelier and maybe think about it post my review with Mr. Baza.
All right, that's very, very smart. You've taken a sidestep, and you're making sure that you don't get grounded. But
Yeah, but then
I
I'm keeping it open, like, okay, I might, like that.
okay. So I'm going to ask you this:
Mhm.
what does Shinjini, the writer,
Mhm.
advise Shinjini, the sales professional, when you deal with your challenges at work every day?
Okay. So Shinjini, the writer, is just not even a year old in the industry, and the professional me is 12 years already. So I have had a lot of learnings in a practical way, but then the writer in me is, continuously telling me that the learning never stops, and as much as we go on in our career to keep ourselves up to date, we need to learn, adapt to the new conditions, the new changes, and keep achieving things in our own stride. So I think the writer is always, keeping the mojo on in me. So yeah.
Very, very motivating. Shinjini, I got a couple of books in incubation right now.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I've been putting together some information challenging the fundamental principle of whether we should use RevPAR as a measure today at all. Whether it's the
Yes.
right measure when all your rooms are lying empty. Does it really
Right.
give you, you know, adequate information, data to take good quality decisions? And of course, I'm also putting together another book on innovative models for a post-pandemic world. So
Hmm.
this is where the whole roles have reversed now, and you have become my guru because you wrote your book before me. So I'm going to ask you, Shinjini, give me some advice now, okay, on how one should go about writing a book. Okay, so take me for example. What can I learn from you about book writing?
So the guru can only teach the shishya. The shishya can't do the opposite way. So I know I have written the book, but nevertheless, if you really want to know what are those key parameters, uh, I think you've already got those things right, I'm sure. But for anybody else who would like to learn, it's first to get your topic, or the subject that you want to write on absolutely clear, what you want to write on, and get enough data on that, get enough material, and consult with people. Second, I think the most important thing would be to design a very good flow, which you need to know what is your flow going to be, because as a writer there's so many times that there's so many different thoughts that's going on in your head. You want to put everything in one place, but if you keep on doing that, then the book won't be very relevant to the readers. So design a flow, and after you do all of that, discuss it with the publisher, because he is the key important person here, because you need to finalize the draft from there. And once everything is good to go, then yeah, absolutely nobody can stop you from publishing the book.
And would you recommend that I also put my book on Google?
Yes, absolutely. Digital is the new key. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, Shinjini, thank you for that insight. You must be aware at this point of time, a lot of our students are doing their research projects. Okay, so
Yes.
I hope you remember this excruciating time from your own stress in college when you were putting together your final dissertation and so on. So this is
Right.
precisely the phase that's going on. And what you said about putting together, a
Hmm.
coherent flow is such
Right.
an important part of learning how to write relevant research, and thank you for that insight. So,
So.
Shinjini, if not anything else, I
Hmm.
can tell you one thing that's been achieved today, and that is you've got me all fired up to make sure that my books come out in the next few months. because it's been very long, very many years of experience. This year I complete 25 years at the institute, and I think this is a small
Yeah.
gift that I can give back to all of my wonderful students over the past 25 years. And thank you for being the one that beat me to it. Okay, because I'm fired up now. And it's so wonderful to see you succeed. It's so wonderful to see that you have the passion, the fire, and the energy to take your thoughts, put them together, create this wonderful piece, and above all, circulate it to the entire community absolutely free of charge. I think that is one of the most important gestures in building a sustainable world, because these wonderful thoughts and ideas are going to be required when we
Mhm.
create a sustainable world of the future. And I am so grateful for students like you who are making that contribution to make the world a better place. So thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. It's been absolutely wonderful having this little chat with you. I hope you didn't get stressed out with my examination, but we've got a couple of minutes, and I have a few of my students here. I think many of them are from my class,
Sure.
and they have been bombarded with far too many innovation models in the course of this year, and I'm
Okay.
quite sure that they may have questions. So we are going to potentially come to a stop unless the questions are so intriguing that we have to answer them. So please feel
Sure.
free to put your questions there in the chat box, and I will read them out. Okay, if I'm not able to get to the questions, I'm going to ask one of my colleagues to give me a hand here, but it's over to you. It's over to the audience. So irrespective of whether you are from within the institute, from my class, or you are somebody who's truly enthused about the quality of knowledge that Shinjini is sharing with us today, please feel free to pop your question into the chat box. And I'm going to be happy to read that question out. And we will continue the grilling process for Shinjini until she is well done by the end of this whole call.
Sure. As we probably wait for the questions, I would really like to thank you, Dr. Jairam, for the warm welcome and the space that you've given me here today to launch the book. Because, and really, congratulations to you for completing 25 years. My God, that's extraordinary. I mean, that's amazing to note. And I still till date take back so many learnings from college, because I feel they're so relevant even in today's time, and I keep on growing from them. But it's absolutely a pleasure to connect here, and I wish that I could have been there physically, so that we could have done the launch, and you could have done the honors by pulling the curtain. But nevertheless, this is also a brilliant platform, and I am getting used to it with all my clients as well these days. So yeah, maybe when times are a little better, I'm going to travel to IHM Aurangabad and personally meet you, and we can talk more on this topic. Surely.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah,
And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to
absolutely.
welcoming you. Earlier I had Niket Sood come in to recruit. So next time the recruitment team from Ecor comes, I'll be really happy to see you come back to your alma mater and to take some of our talents to your company. And
Oh,
hopefully they will
yes.
make you proud.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. I would love to take some students from college for Accor.
and put them on your sales team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how many of you really want to be in sales? Because I have been in sales and marketing throughout, and thanks to IHM Aurangabad for that. Because I think the second batch of TMTP who got into sales and marketing. There were not many before that. So I mean, it was just what I wanted. So I did my all my projects in and around the whole sales and marketing concepts from third year, and then it finally happened. I got into the same field, so I really love it till date. It's always inspiring to be in sales.
So I'm going to ask anyone who's got a question. If you don't have time to type it, please raise your hand and we will get Shinjini to answer. But I think before we get there, she asked a very interesting question, and I can see that there are about 50 odd people on the call. How many of you are looking for a career in sales and marketing? Can I see your hands up? So, of all of our attendees, if you're able to hear me, can I see you raise your hand if you are looking for a career in sales and marketing? Right. I think it's someone who's outside of college, but Saibal Mitra is looking for a career in sales and marketing. I hope you have Shinjini's email and you can drop in your CV to her and she can
Right.
potentially take it forward from there.
Absolutely. Sales and marketing is one of the most challenging yet very, very interesting careers to pursue. And the whole hospitality, industry space trains you to not only be in hotels, but you can also choose your careers up in the ladder across industry. So, these days people are getting recruited in consultancy firms, real estates, and so on and so forth. So, I think sales is something which is very versatile in its own way. So you really, it's not like I don't want to be mean, but it's not really like culinary science or an F&B knowledge, which is limited, I feel, to some extent in its own space. With sales you can move on, and there's so much learning, till date it's been 12 years, and I'm still learning, because obviously firstly the pandemic was something totally different, and how we design our sales models around it is it's a brain racking task. So all of us were kind of put into task on that, and constantly we are doing these customer sentiment surveys to understand our customers, and how can we improvise on all the figures and all the the products that we deliver to them. So, and all hotel companies for that matter has been done a brilliant job in that space. And I mean, you will be amazed to see how the social media space, which was always kind of there but not really in your face types, but it's taken up, and sales and marketing is gone totally digital these days. So the way we are interacting with our bloggers, they're putting pictures on Instagram, tagging us, whether it is, these sessions where the chefs go on live cooking sessions with all the customers. It's so much more, that's happening, and it's ever dynamic. So the learning never stops here. And I'm sure if you are someone who wants to, always keep learning and keep moving, then this is just the right career for you. Uh, yeah.
So you've done a brilliant job selling a sales career. So,
I hope so.
yeah, indeed. So, I have Samir Mulakar, who's our head of training and placement, who's got a question for you, followed by Anita Ilavia, who's come back to join our team after her sojourn with Tata Strive. She was doing some work in the community domain. So, over to both of you. We'll start with Samir. His hand was up first for whatever good reason.
Yeah.
And
Hi,
Samir,
hi, Shinjini. Hi. Congratulations to you for a wonderful book which you have written, and we are looking forward to read that. But whatever you explain and told us about it, it sounds very, very interesting. Thank you so much for that. I don't have exactly a question, but I just wanted to give us answer to Dr. Jairam's question to you about how many people are interested this year for sales and marketing. And my analysis say whatever the primary data I have, 32 students out of 112 are interested in sales and marketing, and 11 for catering sales. So that's a huge number. I have never seen such number in previously.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I
Thank
thought
you, thank you so
I
much.
must appraise you with that, so that you can speak to Satish, from Accor and see that he's coming back to us again.
Yeah, thank you so much for that data. IHM Aurangabad, the students have always been ever shining. We have so many sales role models across the industry, whether it's the Accor or the Marriott or the Taj, everywhere. I mean, and if you have it in you, to kind of keep learning, keep driving change, then this is where you really should be.
Well, Sam, I'm really impressed. That's almost one third the class. Okay, catering
Yes.
sales and
And
room sales or food and beverage
correct.
sales. Brilliant. Okay, I wonder why they are shy and they're not raising their hands. But uh, anyway, it's thank you for that data,
Thank you.
Samir.
Wish you all
Let's
the best, Shinjini.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
let's go over to Anita. I love you. Over to you, Anita.
Hi, sir. Hi, Shinjini. Right
Hi,
now,
ma'am.
I'm
How
so
are you?
full of pride. I don't know if I can say anything. So proud of you.
I'm
So this
feeling
is
so happy to hear your voice. Yeah.
same, yeah. So this is something actually just it's got nothing to do with my department or anything, but going forward and seeing what Chef said, that there's so many number of students who are willing to join sales, and the way the pandemic has approached tourism and hospitality, and as we go forward, Sanjini, it's going to be a different environment where sales is going to be what is going to get back tourism to its feet. So, what are the criteria for selection so that these students who are too shy to put their hands up today would be able to prepare themselves when placements come around?
Okay. So, I mean, selection criteria, more or less, I think has remained the same, the initial criteria. But what really makes a lot of difference is your round two of your interview, when the actual real-time questions start, happening. So I think you need to keep yourself, aware of what's happening in and around your space. That's primary. So what's the government really doing? What's really happening internationally as well? How are we evolving in this space is something we need to know. And I think the next thing is how you can make up with using this kind of innovation that's going on in the industry currently. How can you design a more sustainable model, yet a very economical at the same time, is probably some of the things that you really need to think and maybe re-ask yourself on these questions and put it across. So I think these are questions that would come up your way, because you guys are learning, and you're going to enter the industry with a lot of fresh thoughts, a lot of new ideas in this space. So do help us understand the industry better. The millennials are the ones who are taking up the space these days. So I'm sure you guys have a much better idea of how to handle the pandemic and try take us through this entire difficult times that are there.
Thank you, Sanjini.
Thank you, Anita ma'am. I hope I answered that question to some.
Yes, I'm sure the
extent.
thinking caps
Yeah.
must be on already.
That's good to know.
Okay, so I think we have no direct questions. So I'm going to just make a few announcements which are important. To begin with, I want to thank my colleague, Smita Parmar, who is our assistant professor for digital and marketing communication. She's added a lot of digital shine and presence ever since she's joined the team, and she's actually giving all of us who come from another generation and from another way of working a lot to learn and live in our digital worlds. I'm also very motivated to look at the people who are not mentioned and who are not visible. So I have our digital consultant Umair, and I have our head of IT Zakir, who are keeping this platform going and making it possible for us to have this conversation. So thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, Smita.
Thank you so much.
Most
sir.
importantly, I think we need to make this announcement that while we are expecting that people would take time to get onto Google, download your book, and start to read it, I think they need to get a better insight into who you are as a person, and not so much what Shinjini Basu, the key account director of Accor Hotels India and South Asia, is. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to have a more informal chat with you,
Mhm.
and we're looking to target finding you on Insta this time. And
Okay.
I'll look forward to meeting you on Insta at about 7 p.m. on Sunday. Okay, the right time in the evening. And I'm not sure what you're going to be drinking, but I'm going to be drinking coffee at that time. So we've had this brilliant series of mentor-mentee conversations, more upfront and personal about how life has been, and maybe those are the insights. That's the
Mhm.
kind of strength that we need to lend to the generations that are insecure and probably dealing with a lot of doubt at this point of time about how the industry is going to shape up in the future. And I'm sure there will be a lot of communication around this in the next couple of days. All I'm going to say is, ladies and gentlemen, on this call, please find the link. Please go ahead, download the book, read it. You're not going to finish reading all the 60 pages in one night, but at least within a week and with a little discipline, I can guarantee that you will have a new perspective of what we thought was the solution in the accommodation world. And we also get to know how much exposure there is, and how much value there is in understanding whether or not they are equally vulnerable to this disruption as much as our business has been over the past 15 months. And I dare say it doesn't look like this financial year 21-22 is going to bring very many solutions, because we doubt whether, with all of our infrastructure and logistics constraints, we'll be able to get the entire population vaccinated by the end of 2021. I'm hoping for a good quarter between January and March, but definitely I think hope is on the horizon. I'm sure 22-23 and 23-24 are going to be the 2 years that will put the faith, belief, and passion back into the hospitality business. And for all of those talents who are listening in, you are needed. You are a crucial part of the growth and development of this industry. All I can share with you right now is this example that we have here. So, Shinjini, thank you for being such a wonderful role model. And as we are speaking and sharing the links on the chat so that it becomes easier for people to click through. I have a question from Nishan Tucker, and that
Mhm.
question is, if the future B&B is platform driven, is there a space for new platforms coming? So I'll repeat that question. If the future B&B is platform driven, is there a space for new platforms coming?
Well, there's always space for new platforms, new hotels to coming in. There is, our industry is as vast as you can probably think of it is. So I don't think so there's any kind of restriction. Well, we may have had a certain inhibitions in investing in this particular space from certain owners, but just to give you a kind of heads up on this thing, is I was reading through a few research reports the other day, and US has already started showing uh, all the summer holidays are being booked up in entire of United States. So currently the ADRs are really really high over there, and it's almost like 7-8 times more than what it used to be last summer. So you can understand the kind of demand that's coming up in the market, and this space is here to stay. So definitely that would instigate a lot of new owners to come up with an investment in this space, and definitely new platforms would evolve. Absolutely.
So I think Nishant's actually got his hand up.
Yes,
Nishant,
so
over
I
to
just hi Shinjini. I hope you remember me. I
Yes,
think I
I do.
was
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Hi, how
So
are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just managed to unmute myself. So yeah. So
Okay.
since I have been reading this space and I've seen a lot of Instagram, and the way now this is getting promoted is through social influencers and
Yeah.
a whole bunch of different concepts. So is the future of this sales and marketing going to be now cutting the flab of having more traditional methods of selling the product versus a more genuine platform, or are we still in that mode of moving hybrid, or not being able to make up our minds?
So I think Nishant, your question itself is an answer. You know, yes, of course, sales is not the traditional. Moving on with your business cards to the client's office and kind of noting down his requirements. It's evolved way more than that. So obviously, it's going to be a lot more hybrid. It's going to be a lot more digital. And as I say so, the physical content is definitely, the contact is going to reduce over a period of time. But it's not that a physical person is not needed to create those ideas or to create those experiences. That will still remain. It's just up to you, how you can really modify, how you can really innovate in this particular space. You have to be relevant in that space. Otherwise, nobody else can, give you that. Nobody can create it for you. So if you are innovative and you kind of stay afloat, I think this industry has a lot of space for a person physically. But yes, coming to your second part of the question, you will see a little bit of slag initially in the kind of recruitments from what it used to be to what it is now. But I think we are predicting that the 2019 numbers are going to come even faster than what we are thinking. So we are looking at maybe end of maybe 2022 is when we will reach 2019 numbers, which was not there previously. We were thinking it would be 2024 almost. So yeah, that's the kind of demand that's coming up our way. So definitely you will be very relevant in this new space. Yeah.
That's
That
very
gives a ray of
formidable.
hope.
Sorry, Nishant, back to you.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, yeah, thank you very much. I think that gives a ray of hope to, for all the people to really look forward to and make plan for how they're going to cater to that demand. So I'm glad to hear that it's coming sooner than later.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's formidable if you're telling me that you're going to hit the 1920 numbers at the end of 22. Okay, and
Well,
I think
yeah.
I think that means that there is a huge pent up demand which is going to unleash itself as soon as it becomes easier for people to travel, and we really look forward to that. We have one question from Jennifer Roy, who is in the final year of culinary arts. So over to you, Jennifer.
Good evening, Jairam sir. Good evening, Shinjini ma'am. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
So, ma'am, for my research assignment that I've taken up this year, I am focusing on how startups need to orient themselves and be resilient so as to engage their market. And I have been going through a lot of research papers regarding this, and I've come across the ambidextrous theory and a lot of other theories that are basically encouraging startups to, engage with the market so that they are getting efficient feedback to enhance and optimize their operations. And all of this has somehow inclined me to the whole marketing and sales department as well, because that is one department that looks into all of this a lot. My question to you is that being a culinary student, does that limit my options to enter this industry, enter this sector as well?
Absolutely not, Jennifer. I mean, your operational experience is always counted. It's not that just because if you have to be a sales and marketing person or get a job in the sales and marketing department to carry on the legacy forward. You can be somebody you can be a renowned chef tomorrow and yet become the general manager of the hotel. So because the knowledge that you can get from your operations learning will be used in the hotel space across all the departments. So don't be worried about that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I definitely look forward to reading your book and applying it to my research project as well, since I am able to connect with it a lot. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Jennifer. Over to you, Rushad. our Dean of Undergraduate Studies, Mr. Rushad Kavina. Over to you.
Hi, Shinjini.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Very good, very good. So lovely to see you and hear you after so long.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's been a long
Wonderful.
time.
Absolutely wonderful. I just wanted to ask you, Shinjini, how long did it take you to write this book?
So I think it took more time to actually publish it. Honestly, I would say that because of the pandemic. Unfortunately, it was just getting delayed to get the right resources. So though it didn't take much of a time, thanks to the lockdown, I kind of found a lot of time to invest in myself. And I started writing a blog actually initially, and the kind of audience that I received from my blog that picked up, and that really helped me to start off with my book. So close to, I can say, maybe about 5 to 6 months at least, yeah, since the time the pandemic started. So sometime around April, May is when I started. So yeah, that's how it began.
Okay. And how challenging was it for you to balance your work and your writing? Because when you start writing, you've got to focus, you've got to get into the groove, you've got to have your mindset to write. You just can't open something and start writing for some time and then go back to work. So I'm sure that must have been a big challenge.
Yes, absolutely, it is, because mornings, obviously, the daytime is usually for the office work and the calls and so many things and planning for next day. But somehow, if you want to do something, if you, really have a knack for it, then I think one can manage the time. So I'm glad I could do it. And this is only my first. So I'm really anxious and excited at the same time to get to know the reviews of the same. So yeah, but it was difficult, but thankfully I could manage it. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So proud of you.
Thank
How
you, sir.
lovely.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in. Thank you for spending your time.
So if I may interrupt,
Yes,
there is
please.
a little surprise for Shinjini. Let's see if she remembers this bit.
Okay.
Here. So who's that Shinjini?
Oh my God!
A blast from the past.
Blast from the past, really. This is
That's the Shinjini I remember.
yeah.
Me too.
Anita,
That's how I know her as my senior.
absolutely. I think
Yeah.
this was, I don't remember where was this clicked basically, but that's how we used to be, dressed every morning, prim and proper. And we used to have our checks. I remember Kavina sir checking our nails and our shoes and our hair and everything. But yeah, I mean, this is like a prim and proper picture of,
Yeah, that's your
third year,
ID
if
as
I'm
well.
not wrong.
Student
Yeah,
ID as well.
1368. Yes, that's my
Yes,
roll
and I
number.
get it from our human computer, Dr. Iyengar, who
Okay.
nothing can miss his memory and his mind, and he sends you his best wishes as well.
Thank you so much. I really congratulate him because I saw his article has come up, I think, in the Hotelier magazine or some space. I'm sorry, but that's really commendable work done from him as well.
Today's traveler, yes.
Today's traveler. Okay, sorry.
So we've got this initiative going, and we should be able to populate this whole environment with a lot of new content and new knowledge for the post-pandemic world. But having said that, it's fantastic to see so many people motivated to listen to you, Shinjini. I want to congratulate you once again. Hearty congratulations on bringing out the first one. I'm looking forward to having you write many more. And at some point in your life, decide to become an academic, a researcher, and start a new career path as a professor. Come back to the Institute. We'll be delighted to welcome you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah.
And finally, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an hour that we've engaged with Shinjini. A wonderful experience. Thank you once again.
Thank you to the entire IHM-A faculty and fraternity over here, especially Smita, Zakir sir, Dr. Jairam obviously goes without saying. all of you, thank you so much for giving me so much respect and such a warm welcome. Seriously. So I also look forward to our session on Sunday over Instagram, where we'll be connecting.
Absolutely. So once again, just to remind you, tune into Insta on Sunday at 7 p.m. And just in case you missed this session, you will find it on YouTube. And for now, good night, stay safe, be strong, take care, and remember to get vaccinated. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.